Welcome to the grand finale, Lesson 23, the capstone that ties the entire Debian mastery course together. 24 lessons, 4 stages, 1 checklist. From Foundation, where we installed the system and carved up file systems with LVM, through services with Systemed and Nginx, into hardening with ineffectables and AppArmor, and finally Operate, backups, monitoring, Ansible, and upgrades. This is where the whole playbook converges into a single audit. Here's the map of the whole journey. Stage 1, Foundation, the base, where you learned what's actually on the disk and why. Partitions, LVM, the file system hierarchy. Stage 2, Services, making it useful with Systemed, Nginx, DNS, timers, and logs you can actually find. Stage 3, Hardening, closing the doors with ineffectables, failed to ban, AppArmor, and daily patches. And Stage 4, Operate, running it forever, backups, monitoring, Ansible across 50 hosts. 4 layers, each one locking the previous in place. So here's where the journey turns into a checklist. 30 items, 1 per host, no exceptions, and the first 15 cover everything from Foundation and Services. Red items on the left. Minimal install, apt sources, the admin user, LVM with home and var split out, snapshot capability ready. Amber items, swap sizing, NTP and Cronade, hostname and DNS, system units you accurately understand, Nginx with TLS and modern ciphers, timers with randomized DelaySec, persistent journaled, RSY slog forwarding, LXC isolation, and dependencies properly wired with after and once. Walk it. Every gap is an action item. Now the second half. And this is where the host earns the word production. Cyan items 16 through 25. Eftables dropping by default. SSH locked to keys with failban watching. Sudo without nopassd. PAM hardened. AppArmor enforcing on every exposed service. Unattended upgrades quietly patching, Debian auditing CVEs, and a 3-2-1 backup with a restore drill you've actually run. Green items, 26 through 30, Prometheus and Alert Manager firing real alerts, Grafana and Loki bookmarked, Ansible managing the fleet, a deliberate container strategy, and an upgrade plan with rollback drilled. 30 check marks. That's the whole arc. Foundation, Services, Hardening, Operate, converging into one audit. So, what does life look like once all 30 boxes are ticked? It collapses into a calendar. 5 minutes every morning. Glance at Grafana, confirm restick ran, skim journal CTL for errors. 30 minutes every Friday. An Ansible check diff for drift, a look at failed to ban, a Debian pass, 2 hours a month for backup integrity and kernel cleanup, 4 hours a quarter for the big one, the full 30-point audit, a real restore drill, a rollback rehearsal, and planning the next upgrade window. That's it. Most of the work runs itself. You're just reviewing what L17, L19, and L20 already surfaced. And once that rhythm clicks, you may notice Debian Mastery hinted at things it didn't fully exhaust. That's by design. These 24 lessons are the anchor of a larger portfolio. 6 mastery courses, 78 lessons total. SH, failed to ban, CrowdSec, Linux hardening, containers, Ansible. Each one picks up exactly where a bridge lesson in Part 2 left off. L13 opens the door to SSH mastery, L14 to failed to ban and CrowdSec, L15 to Linux hardening, L16 to containers, L20 to Ansible at scale. Pick the one that matches the depth your fleet needs next. Now, before you branch out, let's look back at what tripped people up most. Across 24 lessons, we covered around 120 gotchas, but these 10 are the ones that cost real engineers real weekends, editing interfaces without a rollback, mixing testing and stable sudo no pass, silently bypassing your 2FA, system units with no restart clause, dying quietly, default TLS ciphers rotting in 6 months. On the right, NF tables flush, then add lockouts, fail, ban without a recidive jail, untested backups, alerts with no for clause, burning out your pager, and dist upgrade without an LVM snapshot. The pattern is the whole course in one line. Pre-flight beats, firefight. Test before you trust. Drill before you need. So the course is done. But the journey doesn't have to be. 4 paths from here, all optional. Deepen with a mastery course on SSH, failed to ban, hardening, or Ansible. Broaden by running the 30-point audit on a real host and closing the gaps. Teach, because nothing exposes your weak spots like explaining them to a junior, or send feedback, what stuck, what was missing, and help shape what comes next. Kubernetes, Postgres, maybe AI security. Pick what fits your role. The portfolio is modular by design. So that's it. 24 lessons, 4 stages, 1 mastery, foundation, services, hardening, operate, all converging into a system that's been up 247 days with a load average under 0.1. Every command in that history was earned. Thank you for walking the full path. Now go run the audit on something real. See you in the next course.